Well, good morning, Gathering Network kids. I can't believe it, but we are almost done with the New Testament. But first, today we are going to cover the story where God sends the help that he promised. Now, Jesus' friends and helpers are all huddled together in a stuffy upstairs room. They call it the upper room. Even though it was sunny outside, they had the windows closed, the shutters closed, the door was locked. Wait in Jerusalem, Jesus had told them. I am going to send you a special present. God's power is going to come into you. God's Holy Spirit is coming to help you. So here they were waiting. Actually, mostly what they were doing was just being scared and hiding, and you really can't blame them. Their best friend had died, had risen from the dead, and now he was gone. The most important people and leaders were after them, and Jesus had given them a job they didn't know how to do. As they waited, they were praying and remembering. They were remembering how from the beginning God had been working out this secret rescue plan. Suddenly, a strong wind filled that little room, even though the windows weren't open, whistling through the walls, rustling the straw on the floor, and there, on everyone's heads, they started to see these flickering flames. Fire that didn't hurt or burn. And something more was happening inside, in their bodies, in their hearts. They felt this strange heat, almost as if the coldness and hardness was melting away, as if their broken hearts were being healed and mending, and God was giving them brand new hearts that could work properly. How it happened, they didn't know, but they knew God's power was now here among them and in them, and Jesus himself was with them. They had seen Jesus go away, they'd seen it with their own eyes, but now he seemed closer than he'd ever been, even though he wasn't in the room. And this time, nothing could ever separate them. Jesus would always be there with them, loving them, whispering and reminding them of the promises that would set them free of the terrible lie that had been rooted in the hearts of people long ago. God's wonderful promise to them was, you are my child and I love you. Make your home in me as I make my home in you, Jesus had said. Could it be that in this moment heaven was coming down to earth? They threw open the shutters, sunlight flooded in the room like the love that they were feeling in their hearts, and that little room was filled with happy noises. They're laughing and singing and dancing their joy. They unlocked the door and they headed out into the streets, not afraid of what was going to happen, as they'd never been hiding in fear. Peter spoke in a loud voice so that everyone could hear. Jesus died for you because he loves you, and God made him alive again. He has rescued you. Well, people stopped and listened. The word sank down into their hearts and worked kind of like a medicine that helps heal your body. You don't have to run from God anymore, Peter said. Run to him instead so he can love you and he can give you freedom. Peter told them the wonderful story of God's love that came through Jesus. God's never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. He told them all about Jesus and all that had happened. There were lots of people at this time from faraway countries in Jerusalem. They couldn't speak the same language, but as they listened to Peter, they could understand what he was saying, like he was saying it in their own language. and many people chose that day to believe, and they became Jesus's new friends and helpers, new disciples. The wonderful news of Jesus spread from this moment like sparks from a fire to villages, towns, cities. Every day, more and more people heard the story of Jesus and God's love, and they believed, and so God's family grew. Well, there was one man who was watching all this happen. His name was Saul, and he said to himself, I am going to stop this. But this was God's plan. Nothing at all was ever going to be able to stop it, not even Saul. Well, that's it for today, you guys. Take some time with the discussion questions, and I'll see you next week.